Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story of 2024. I'm Buddy Fry, and let's queer up the top stories of the year. This is number 4 of 24. 60 Minutes destroys Moms for Liberty over grooming, asking what do they really want? This story was first broadcast on March 6th on Queer News Tonight. One of the most refreshing moments of this year was when the conservative organization Moms for Liberty got grilled on 60 Minutes. Author Chasten Buttigieg, the spouse of Secretary of Transportation Pete Buttigieg, also criticized them for their comments during the interview. Let's take a look.
Next, let's queer up social justice. 60 Minutes destroys Moms for Liberty over grooming, asking what do they really want? The conservative parents' rights education movement, led by Moms for Liberty, faced scrutiny on 60 Minutes. The segment shed light on their stance against LGBTQ+ educational materials. Co-founders Tiffany Justice and Tina Descovich were interviewed against a backdrop of electoral defeats for endorsed candidates in school board elections across the United States. During the 60 Minutes interview, Scott Pelley noted that Justice and Descovich avoided addressing her questions directly. Instead, they resorted to using written talking points. When pressed further about the alleged indoctrination of children, commonly called by the radical right as grooming, they deflected, focusing instead on educational performance rather than the content of the books. Author Chasten Buttigieg, the spouse of Secretary of Transportation Pete Buttigieg, commented in the response to the interview, saying, quote, "They literally have to look at printed talking points," end quote. In response to 60 Minutes, Moms for Liberty criticized CBS for purportedly censoring the content of books discussed during the filming. Specific books, including This Book is Gay by Juno Dawson and Genderqueer by Maya Kobabe, were listed, with Moms for Liberty arguing that exposing children to such content without parental consent could be viewed as grooming. The electoral defeats for Moms for Liberty endorsed candidates in states like Pennsylvania and Iowa underscored a broader public sentiment against their approach to education and LGBTQ+ issues.
We wanted to know about the messages on Mom's X account, which adopts the extremist smear with, "If they don't like being called groomers, they should stop trying to groom our kids."
What are you trying to say?
Well, I'm going to say that if we'd have to see the exact tweet. Tiffany manages our Twitter account.
So we read more exact tweets from their account. This targets a librarian. "You want to groom our children and we're supposed to give you love?" Again, Justice and Descovich went to their talking points.
I'm just asking, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by grooming?
Parents want to partner with their children's schools, but we do not co-parent with the government.
Grooming does not seem like a word that you want to take on.
You know, we did some polling and we really wanted to know, where are the American people on this issue of parental rights and what's happening in our schools?
Dodging questions like those was not an option back in Beaufort, South Carolina. Critics of the book ban said they knew what groomer meant, and they saw it as a threat to people of color and the LGBTQ community.
Well, I don't know where to begin with this whole conversation because, you know, if you want the attention on a national level, you need to be prepared. You want parents to have the ability to make decisions about what their children learn. Stop censoring books. You want parents to be involved in their children's education on a more consistent basis. Fine. If you don't want the child to read the book, whatever the book is that's in question, opt out, but have a secondary option for them to choose from. Don't just sit there and say every child in the school cannot read that book. But also to show your ignorance and your incompetence, and to just sit there and repeat the same sentence over and over and over shows how bigoted, small-minded, and asinine you really are.
Well, this truly was a high point of 2024. However, Moms for Lobotomies are a lot like herpes, because you can be sure they'll be back to make life miserable for us. Unfortunately, they will be empowered by the backing of the new administration. So just get ready. They are coming back.
Yes, but I think the general population is starting to pay more attention.
I hope so.
I hope so too. No, and you know, going back, similar conversation and a broadcast I did a while back. it was surprising to see what books have been banned other places that were prominently displayed on a display about that topic in Wilton Manors at our free library. So I'm glad that Wilton Manors, but you worry about the folks beyond, and to the points you made, well said.
Yeah, we need to cover the country, but this is absolutely asinine. It's 1950 all over again.
That was 2024. We are bringing you a special presentation of the 24 biggest stories of the year. We call the Top 24 of 24. There's no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.